What's up, fam? Gosh, I have questions and I would love for y'all to give me some answers. Tell me from your perspective how you feel, what you think about this. Um, I've been trying to shake something off since yesterday and it's still kind of lingering on me. I know a lot of people don't want me to talk, don't want me to say anything because they think that's the best way to go. Well, I can tell you from my experience that I've been feeling a lot better after having these conversations. So um, I'm going to have them, right? Um, so yesterday was my hopes that some of the situations that's going on will be resolved, okay? And it ended up nothing being resolved at all, okay? So we're supposed to be talking through some things, and literally the other party wants to walk away with everything. Now, if you're new and you haven't heard any of this, I'm going through a divorce, and um, I had no idea that it was happening. Uh, my wife one day came to me and told me that she was moving out and she got a divorce attorney. Now, this was in one day. She already had a place, she already had it decorated. It was time for her to move, so she came and told me that she was leaving. Well, she had already been moving things from the house pertaining to the business that we both started and we both, are a part of. So I realized after that day that most of the stuff that we was using for our business has been gone, has been taken. Um, Tens of thousands of dollars worth of products, thousands of dollars worth of material, thousands of dollars worth of equipment. Now, mind you, both of us started this business, right? I am responsible for the business simply because it's in my name, but she has taken the whole business, right? And locked me out of it completely. So try to talk through it, and you know, I thought we came to an agreement about how we were gonna run the business apart. Well, they went back on that and decided to lock me out of it completely. So figuring I'm gonna do it the correct way, it's not gonna be all this arguing, it's not gonna be all this fighting. We'll just do it through the courts because you're not being reasonable, right? So I didn't go get an attorney, and thinking that this was going to be just open and shut, because how can you just do that? You can't. I looked it up. In Georgia, that is a crime to do. It is a criminal act to lock the responsible person to a business out of their business and continue to make money and spend it as you like. This is illegal. It is very much illegal. A crime, even between a husband and wife, it can't be done. So I'm thinking this is an open and shut. They're gonna make her get this thing correct, right? Here we are, a month later. I still don't have access to the business, and she's saying she refused to give it to me. uh, she refused to put the money where it belongs, so we can split it half and half. She wants it all. So my question to you all, if the shoes were on the other foot, me being the male and me just walking out and taking everything and giving no access or no funds to my wife, would that stand? Would the legal system allow for something like that to occur? Now, I waited it out and I'm trying to, let the judges and courts and all that figure all this out. So went and had somewhat of a meeting, and she refused to be reasonable about that. Like, what sense does that make? Half and half. Why is that a bad thing? Why you feel like you deserve everything? Now, mind you, we were married, and I was the person that was working during the marriage that funded our ability to be able to start this business. Mind you, I do the physical part of the business, and mind you, thousands, tens of thousands of hours poured into the business for you to feel like it all belongs to you. Now, having an attitude towards me for what reason at all? So she admitted there's no domestic violence, there's no infidelity. I did absolutely nothing to upset her, to piss her off. So why be mad at me? So found out this is the definition of gaslighting. Because you want your way, you got to make it seem like I am bad. But you got nothing to point to that makes me bad. I went to the hospital with you on all these, issues with, your injury. I nursed you back when you had surgeries. I allowed you to be home while I went to work and made sure that we can eat. And I did nothing, and you mad at me, and you feel like you got to take all our resources and not give me any because you're upset. About what? You have no reason to be upset. Like, I that is, it's called gaslighting. I had to find that out. I don't know nothing about all these little terms that y'all throwing around, like narcissists and financially abusive, stupid stuff. Been in the police for 16 years. You ain't arresting nobody for no financially abusive. Abusive is abusive. And how can somebody be abusive for doing the same thing they have been doing from day one? I was handling out finances before we got married. She gave them over to me because she said she's bad with money. But now that this money coming in, I'm financially abusive. Narcissist, I don't fit in that category at all. But whatever, if y'all want to call me that, whatever. But what right do you have to do that? Can a man get away with doing that? And it's not a man bashing or a woman bashing thing. Can a man today leave a woman stranded on something that they both own and nothing is being done about it? Can that happen? I want to know. Like, I'm so serious. Because when I sit around and I think about it, when I see that it's actually a crime, and it's open and shut. If the business was running this way, it should continue to run the way it was ran, regardless of whether it's a divorce or not. Split the profits, and when we go to court, if anything else need to be done, fine. I want to split it. She wants everything. And her only problem is she don't want me to tell y'all this. Why? Because it makes you look a certain way. If it's true, it's true. I'm not calling you no names. I'm not making nothing up. Nothing I said on none of these videos is me calling you names. It's me telling my story about what took place. And my story is 100% accurate. And I'm willing to go to court and I can testify to anything that I have said on here. Are you willing to go to court and be able to say I'm a narcissist? Are you able to say I'm financially abusive? Those are not true. I ain't call you no names. I just said what exactly took place. Now, if it sound bad, that's because it probably is. If it don't sound bad, then you ain't got no problem, because I ain't say nothing that wasn't true, right? So I've been thinking about this since yesterday, and I've been shaking it off, and I was thinking, I'm just like, this makes absolutely no sense. And for me, it don't make no sense to walk out of a situation for no reason except for you just ain't want to be there no more. Be mad about it and take everything and feel like the person you walked out on don't deserve what they actually what belongs to them. Now, the fact that all this is in my name and I got no control over it is absolutely maddening to me, because I'm gonna be the one that's held responsible for everything. Not her, me. Now, I'll be the bad person if I go to the police department, right, and actually press these charges. I would be the bad person. Why? I mean, why does that have to happen? Why do I have to go and have you arrested in order for me to actually feel like something is being done? If you felt like something was wrong and they tell you, all right, return it to normal, and this is how the money will be dispersed, why is that a problem? When I say this property is Black's Tropical Homestead, why is that a problem? Because this is Black's Tropical Homestead, not where you just moved to. That is not. This is legally it right here. And why must you threaten and say, okay, well, I'll just leave everything and go about my own? Okay. I mean, why am I going to be upset by that? You just going to have to let me back in. And then you have to go on your own if that's what you want to do. But why do that? Why don't you just give me the half that I deserve? And you can have the half that you deserve, and we can actually live happily ever after. I do not want you no more. Once you left, that was it. I'm good with that. You know, the only thing that's concerning me is our finances. And you keeping that away from me because you want me to continuously worry about what's going on with the finances. Once we get that straight, if we get that straight now today, like you won't be a thought. But I got to worry about what you're doing with our money. And I know you bad with them, and you know you bad with money. The amount of money you say that you got is absolutely crazy right now, because you're missing a whole lot of money and you don't even know where it went. I guarantee you. That's how bad you are with money. But you're going to have to come up with it at some point. But until then, what am I supposed to be doing? I don't understand. So, fam, I know there's a lot of y'all that believe in pray and just let it go. No, I don't believe in that. I believe in praying, but I believe in being guided in action. Because I believe that praying without action is nothing. I believe that there's effort that goes into everything. And God helps those who help themselves. And if you're just praying and expecting for God to do everything, no. God can release some of the pressure off of you, and He can guide you into making smart and intelligent decisions based off of who you are. Your actions may be different. Now, if you believe in just praying and then not doing nothing, then that's your thing. That's not mine. Okay, I understand that, and I appreciate it. I want y'all to pray for me. Pray that I can actually move in God's way, His will. And I feel like I am. All right. So, and I think that's because a lot of y'all have been praying for me and looking out for me, and I'm so appreciative. But, I felt like I needed to come on because I want to hear what y'all got to say about that. I ain't worried about the trolls. Y'all do what y'all do. But I'm talking about the supporters. Not my supporters per se, but the supporters, period. So, guys, I ain't asking nobody to be on one side or the other. That's not what I'm doing. I'm asking y'all, just to listen to me rant. But I want to know the answer to that question. You can say what you want, but that's primarily the answer I want. Now, if you feel like today I'm treated fairly in a situation like this, and you think that this happens just as much on the other side as it happened on this side, tell me. But if you think that there's no way that this should be happening, tell me. If you think that she's supposed to be doing exactly what she's doing, tell me. I want to hear some different opinions. And if you haven't heard me before, guys, this is what I do. I don't have a soundboard right now. I don't have nobody to listen to. And yes, I have prayed and I talked to God. I still need to get it out. I can't hold in everything and expect to not explode at some point, right? So therefore, I release it. Now, you do what you do. This is how I do, all right? And this has been working for me. Y'all have been amazing. And like I said, I'm gonna talk about this because this is what I want to do. This is what works for me. I'm okay with the negative opinions and thoughts and all that stuff that comes along with social media. I am a content creator, guys. I'm not one of y'all who don't talk on social media, who don't put their business out there. My life has been public pretty much for 5 years since I started this. I talk about how I live. I talk about how I eat. I talk about where I go, what I do. I talk about all that stuff. So now that something negative is going on in my life, I'm still talking about it because I am human. Life happens to everybody. So therefore, you have to deal with life the way it comes. And I am a content creator. If I was a crane operator, or if I was, a businessman somewhere where, I worked in an office somewhere, no, I wouldn't be doing this. Why would I? Because what sense does that make? But this is what I do. I'm a content creator. People know me. They know me for this. And y'all have heard me talk about, some of the amazing things that have been going on in my life. And some of y'all have loved it and idolized it and thought it was amazing. Guess what, guys? You know what I mean? This is life. This is how it happens. You have good times, you have bad times. This will pass. I have no doubt. But it is here right now, and I got to deal with it. And this is how I'm dealing with it. And it may not be your way, I understand, but I appreciate each one of y'all for telling me how you feel about it. Because you know, what sense does it make to put this stuff out and you can't take what comes back? It don't make no sense, right? I'm a pretty intelligent guy. You know, I understand exactly what it is I'm doing. I understand what it looks like and how it feels to different people, because who I am is me, right? And I understand other people think differently than I do, and I respect that. You know, some of y'all can't respect the fact that everybody is just like y'all, and I understand that, because we all different. And if the world was everybody was the same, then it probably would be like nothing. You know, it would be so weird. But it's not. You know, there's some of us that actually care about others. There's some of us that don't. You know, that's just a natural part of being human and things being the way they are. You know, and I care about, you know, my fellow man, and that's just something I can't help. It's not something that I set out to do. It's just within me, and that's the person I am. You know, and it do bite me sometimes. So like now, it bites me, but it is life, you know. And I'm not gonna change me to suit, you know, somebody else. I'm gonna be me. This is my contribution to the world, right? And who you are is your contribution. And I can't be you, and you can't be me, and life happens, you know. I take bits and pieces of everything that everybody say, what people do, and I actually I adjust. I conform to, you know, how I move to each person that I meet or run into. And that's just how my mind works. Your mind might work different. If you get around a whole bunch of nasty people, you just become a nasty person. No, I'm still gonna be me. You know, if I need to do something to a nasty person, I'm gonna do it. That's how I move. You know, I'm not gonna become nasty, but I will respond to a nasty or a bad act that comes towards me. That's just how it goes, you know. But I'm not gonna treat everybody like they're that bad person. You know, I'm not gonna sit there and act like a butthole to everybody because somebody was a butthole to me today, you know, today or yesterday. I'm gonna be a butthole to that butthole. You know, I'm gonna react to him or her. But yeah, guys, I want to come in and rant for a minute. I already feel better. But I just needed to know this. If you would just, you know, let me know how you think about it and how you feel about it. And, you know, I'm going to go to the gym, get me a workout in, and try to brush off as much as I can. Guys, I appreciate y'all for listening to me. Till next time.